Namaste and warm regards from Team The Indian Lawyer. Today we bring to you this new episode of The Indian Lawyer Legal Tips, which will discuss different aspects of gifts in India. At some point of time or the other, we all have to give some gifts to near relatives or friends or even for charity. So let us understand the basic nuances of what the gift law says in India. Now, before we go any further, let us understand what is a gift. A gift has been defined under the Transfer of Property Act and refers to the transfer of movable or immovable property made voluntarily and without taking any consideration by one person who is called the donor to another person who is called the donee. The acceptance of the gift by the donee is a must to conclude the deal. Now let us understand the next aspect of gifts, that is, what are the laws applicable for gift in India. I would say the first would be the Transfer of Property Act 1882, the Income Tax Act 1961, the Hindu Succession Act, the Muslim Personal Law Sharia Application Act 1937 and the Indian Stamp Act. All these laws have to be taken into consideration when making a gift. The personal laws are only applicable if the donor falls within the personal laws, that is, he is a Hindu or a Muslim. Now, who are the parties to a gift? As I've already explained earlier, there are two parties to a gift, that is the donor and the donee. The donor makes the gift and the donee accepts the gift. Now, let us examine another important aspect. What are the essential elements of a gift? Or what are the things one has to do in order to ensure that the transaction is a gift? First, there must be a transaction between living persons, that is inter vivos. The transfer must be of existing movable or immovable property. It must be done voluntarily and without consideration. And there must be a proper registration in the event that it's immovable property. And lastly, there has to be delivery of possession for the movable property. Now, going to another aspect, what are the modes of making a gift? For movable property, it would be by delivering possession, whereas for immovable property, it would be by registration under Section 123 of the Transfer of Property Act. The doctrine of part performance is not applicable to gifts. Now, there is one aspect of gifts which I feel I should point out, that is, can a gift be made of a future property? The answer is no. It can only be made of existing property. Another thing that might cross the minds of the viewers is, can a gift be made to multiple donees? The answer is yes, it can be made to multiple donees, and all the donees have to accept the gift. A gift made jointly with other donees can also have right of survivorship, and in case one of the donees passes away, then the surviving donee can get the entire gift. There is another category of gifts that one may be interested in, which is known as onerous gifts. These are gifts which carry both obligations and benefits. When transferred together, the donee must accept or reject the whole deal, but if it is transferred separately, the donee has the choice of accepting some aspects of the onerous gift and rejecting the other. Now, let us understand what the law means when they say void gifts. These are gifts are void if they fall in any of the categories which are mentioned in the slide below. Another important aspect that might cross your mind is, can a gift be suspended or revoked? The answer is yes, it can. It can be done in two ways: by agreement, that is, if the donor and the donee agree that a gift may be revoked on the occurrence of a particular or specified event, and that happens, then the gift can be revoked. The gift can, however, also be revoked on grounds of undue influence, fraud, coercion, or if the donor makes an averment that it was taken from him or her by using undue influence, fraud, coercion. Now, what I feel may be very simple, but I still feel that viewers should know are what are the important contents of a gift deed. Well, the first would obviously be the complete details of the donor and the donee, the relationship, the address, etc. Then the rights and authority of the donor to donate that particular property, description of the property, confirmation of delivery of the property, and if there are any third party rights, for instance, like a right to easement, then that right should be mentioned. And finally, of course, the schedule of the property. Now I would like to discuss a case that would involve a minor. If a gift is given to a minor, say a father gifts a minor son a particular gift and the son is living with him, the gift will be deemed to be valid and legal, and when the minor becomes a major, he can take the gift. This was discussed by the Madras High Court in a case called Porochami Servel versus Balasubramanian 1982. Now many of you would be curious as to what is the difference between a gift and a will. In order to make it easy, we have reproduced the different aspects of a will and a gift in the slides below. One very important aspect of a gift which is of immovable property is that the gift deed must be on stamp paper. Stamp duty must be paid for the gift deed. It could vary from state to state, and typically it could be anything between 2 to 7% of the property value. The registration must be done at the Sub-Registrar's office, and the deed must have the fingerprints and photographs of both parties in order to ensure that the gift is properly registered. Lastly, let us look at the tax implications of gift in India. Under the law, that is the income tax law, taxation on gifts depends on the value and the relationship between the donor and donee. Certain gifts are exempt from tax. These are mentioned in the slide below. There are, however, certain gifts that are taxable, and these are again mentioned in the slide below. If you have found this video interesting, please like, share and subscribe so that we can reach more and more people. This particular videos are made as a social cause, and we are trying to reach out to as many people as we can. Thank you for watching. Till we meet again at the next episode. Namaste and have a good day.